welcome back to Daytime Toronto. So it's summer, we want to be light, fresh, breezy, and of course, healthy. No one likes a cold during the summer. It's the worst thing ever. So we have Nettie Cronish from Natural Foods, chef. She has a cookbook, she is an author, and she's a culinary instructor. And today she is going to be my chef du jour as we make some really delicious, delicious plates.
The best. You know what we're going to do today?
Tell me.
Well, first of all, we're going to cook some basmati rice in some delicious vanilla soy milk.
Oh, that sounds
If you're
good.
wanting to eat lower on the food chain, soy milk is a great medium. So what I've already done is with basmati rice, you add 2 cups of soy milk. You let the basmati rice absorb the soy milk, and now I'm going to add the rest of the soy milk, and I'm just going to let it cook.
So
and
that's 2 cups in total.
It's 4 cups.
4 cups
so you
total,
add
okay.
2 cups to 1 cup, and I also have a fabulous fair trade cinnamon stick.
Oh, lovely.
And another dish we're going to prepare today is a tofu dish, and this is a stir-fried almond nut butter tofu, and it is delicious, and I love to eat it hot or cold. And we all know that when you buy your tofu, you're often faced with different textures. So for this recipe, I'm using an extra firm, and I'm delighted to tell you that the soybeans come from Ripley, Ontario, from an organic soybean farmer.
Okay, I'm glad for that as well too.
Let's go local.
Now, we've heard some bad things recently about soy, about it not being the best healthy option. I mean, you're obviously an expert, you know about this. So, I mean, why do you still advise people to go soy?
Well, soy is a huge, huge range, and I'm a natural foods chef. So what we're using today is we're using soy milk made from organic soybeans, and we're using tofu made from organic soybeans. What people do is they confuse soy isolates with soy foods. And soy isolates are when you remove the protein from the soybean, and then it's just concentrated protein, and it's used in large amounts. But using soybeans and soy milk and using tofu is an excellent source of protein. It's low fat, and it also can be delicious. Tofu, when you buy it in an extra firm capacity, doesn't have any flavor. There's no seasoning or marinade. And I know a lot of people buy a marinated tofu, but I'm going to show you how you can marinate the tofu, and you can have it. This recipe is great for 2 or 3 days.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll let you start working.
Terrific. So this is my 1 pound of Seoul Cuisine tofu. And you also have to know who you're cooking for. So I have 3 kids. And my kids like a large piece of tofu as opposed to the husband who wants his tofu cut really, really in small pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 pieces of tofu. So this is like 1 pound of tofu or 450 grams. And using my terrific knife, I'm going to slice it into pieces. So now I can decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to make them larger? Or am I going to make them smaller? So I'm going to cut them in half again. And 1 pound of tofu is a lot of tofu. But you can use it in so many interesting ways. You can puree it. You can braise it. What we're doing here is we're stir frying it, and we're turning it into a lovely, lovely shade of brown. And tofu is also fantastic in soups if you've ever had some leftover tofu.
Yes, I have. It's so good.
What you want to do with your leftover tofu is submerge it in water when you haven't used it. You can change it every second day, change the water, and tofu freezes really well.
Oh, very
So
interesting.
you just pour boiling hot water on top of it and then squeeze the water out. And as you crumble the tofu, it's just like a hamburger meat. I make tofu meatballs, tofu cheesecakes. The range and variety is just fantastic.
I feel like a cheat because I can actually see where this is going, and it looks like I need to have a bite of that right now. But we'll just get there in our
Well, that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to add our marinated tofu, and in an almond nut butter curry, I used another Canadian nut butter, nuts to you. And then we also have really good quality soy sauce made from whole soybeans, rice wine called mirin, And we also have some excellent olive oil and toasted sesame oil.
I can actually smell every flavor that you just talked about. I can smell the sesame, I can smell the almond, I can smell some coconut, and I just cannot wait to taste it all.
So in here, we've got some kale, we have some broccoli, we have some red pepper, and I also used a little rosemary and a really good quality curry powder. So I'm going to give you a taste right now.
Okay.
Here's your fork.
Thank you very much.
And here we go. So this is easy to prepare and it's delicious. And sometimes, like my daughter who's at university, she'll put this in a pita.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Isn't it a great idea? And I've also used it as a stuffing for cabbage roll. And it's also great if you just want to layer it in a casserole or use it in another way.
I was saying to you, as I have food in my mouth, that one of the great things about this meal is that it seems light, but it actually is a very fulfilling, substantial meal.
This is main course protein. And as I said before, it's dairy-free, it's low-fat. You can take it with you to a picnic. And look how beautifully my pieces of tofu are browning. It doesn't take long. A medium-high heat, 6 to 8 minutes. They brown evenly. And then you can add them to any marinade you like.
So over the break, I'm going to finish this off because it looks so good. Now, I want to get started on dessert because I'm just that kind of gal before we go to break. So can we talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing?
Of course. So what is happening here is the rice is being absorbed by the soy milk. And because we're in the time of year, we are spring, we have so many great fruits that we can use. And what I have here is my fruit salad. It's already been cooked in my So Good or Silk soy milk. Now, do you want to add some chocolate sprinkles and a little bit of trail mix to it?
Nettie, you know me so well. Of course I do.
All right, then that's what we're going to do. So first of all, I'm just going to put some in here for you, and we'll add some. Now, this is a kind of salad. You want to make sure that your ingredients are colorful. So you want to have a little green, a little red. Here we have some chocolate. Who doesn't like a bit of chocolate sprinkles? And now we're just going to add
a little bit of crunch in there.
A little crunch in there, and voila!
That is fantastic. So I'm going to taste
It's a nice light snack, and anyone can eat it. It's also dairy-free. And, you know, use the fruits you like to use. Use berries, use apples.
I want to show that to camera. That looks absolutely fantastic. So you give people this. It's a nice, I think, a nice barbecue meal as well, too.
Anyone can eat it. And also, you're getting a lot of fiber from your rice. And for people who are just tired of an ordinary fruit salad, add a grain to it and cook it in soy milk. Soy milk is so versatile and it's so delicious. And also, tofu is such an easy food to cook with. And if you want to eat lower on the protein, lower on the food scale in terms of your protein, then you need to think of using soy products and soy foods. But you want to use the whole soy product.
That is a fantastic point because I actually used to love soy milk and then I was discouraged from all these articles. But now I need to know that it's where you buy it, not necessarily what the product itself that's a bad guy.
Yeah, soy, I mean, look at what people have been eating in Asia for centuries. They're not wrong. And soy is like any other kind of cuisine. You need to eat a moderate amount. And you need to make sure that it's delicious because we eat with our eyes.
That is fantastic. So I cannot wait to try the dessert. I've been holding off until after the break because I like to have a little bit of surprise in there as well too. So once again, we have created 2 spectacular dishes. This is a curry stir
Yes,
fry.
it's an almond nut butter curry with extra firm tofu. And what I've done is I've sauteed the tofu in a little olive oil. See how beautifully it browns? And then I've added it to my almond nut butter marinade.
And then over here we've got?
We have basmati rice cooked in vanilla soy milk.
All right, so we're going to have more after the break with Nettie. Stay tuned. We're learning a lot and eating some good food while we're doing it.
It's been great.
I'm
Thank
not mad
you.
at that.
It's delicious.
With Nettie Cronish, natural foods chef, cookbook author, and culinary instructor. I promised I would wait for you guys to taste this, but I couldn't. It's so good and delicious and light. I absolutely love the apples in there. And
Well, and you can add anything you want. As I said before, you have to know who you're feeding. Like, I got 3 kids and a husband. They don't want to be vegetarian anymore, and so I wrote my Everyday Flexitarian book. But I use soy. I use tofu tempeh miso. I use soy sauce. I use soy milk. And to me, that's the backbone of my diet. That's where a lot of my protein comes from. And I also teach soy cooking classes around the city. I teach people how to cook intelligently with soy at Loblaws, The Big Carrot, LCBO, Nella Cucina. I'm a knife for hire, as I like to say.
I love that because I actually would love to learn to cook more healthy, more green, and more clean, but it's often very difficult if you don't have the practice, if you don't know what to buy and what flavors complement each other. So we can come to you.
Meatballs. I make meatballs with tofu. I use tofu in dips. It's also such a good binding agent to use in place of eggs. Yes, it's all about educating ourselves and using ingredients we're familiar with and taking the time to learn about a few new ingredients.
Nettie, I absolutely adore you, and it's more than just the hair. Because I have the exact same hair as you, trust me. I just have a lot of oil in it right now, but you were absolutely fantastic. For more information, you've got to go to nettiecronish.com. Once again, to learn about her book, as well as to pick yourself up a copy of, I think you've got some stuff in Loblaws you were saying.
Yes, and The Big Carrot, and I'd also go to Soy Foods for Life.
Lovely. So still to come on Daytime Toronto, tasting yummy ice cream when Baskin-Robbins promote 31-cent Scoop Day, all about Construction, a non-profit competition that decreases hunger and fights poverty in Toronto. Up next, though, we have raising funds for the Canadian Breast Cancer Support Fund with 9 Gala. All right? You did good, right?
Well.